I'm E.
I'm Rob.
And I'm M, but I go by Desde when I make music.
Welcome to the next movement, folks.
Please believe in me, I never strive for perfect. If I ever strive for anything at all, happen to fall into it like a daydream. At the wrong time, the escape could save me. If I remember, it was never in the universal law to attract my biggest contradictions, just to show off that I've worked enough, that I'm strong and I've gained this pain. Watching variations of my village slain. Thanks for your cooperation on my escapade. I'm alive, mixed with torment and cement left to dry. A story of a seed with many lives before it died. Falls on ears unprepared to hear. Like when I get support calls, collecting left remnants of old advice. Auntie on the phone, don't be led with that thing between your thighs. Do I even have to tell you that everybody lies? And when it comes to guys, abrupt cut off. Hell nah, with respect, I'd be dead if I cared about a man. Real shit, take my bodily autonomy, then throw it in the mosh pit.
Desde, thank you so much for being here with us. We're really hype about this.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm excited.
Of course,
Yes.
of course. There's a lot we want to talk to you about. I thought we could start with your newest project, which is called Tongue Original. So quick shout out to Tim Hotep. I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and one of the first projects he recommended to me, one of the first new projects he said I should check out was Tongue Original. And I'm so glad that he did, because I dove in like the next day and I was just blown away. It's phenomenal. And it's really hard for me to believe that it's only 10 minutes long. I don't think that I was really cognizant of that until I looked it up, because every time that I've listened to it, I've sort of been in a daze and not really aware of time or anything else, because I'm really just transfixed on your voice and what you're saying. Kind of feels a little bit like hypnotism. And I think that I'm hanging on to every word because I really don't want the project to end. But yeah, I'm wondering in terms of length, what it's like for you on the other side of that, right? Like, does the project feel long enough for you? And how do you generally determine when you said all that you needed and wanted to say on a project?
First of all, thank you for all that. Oh, that's really sweet. I appreciate it. That makes me feel really good. So I don't know. I feel like I'm always kind of thinking about what it's like listening to my music sometimes, or just music in general, like the intake of it. And I feel like, I guess the overall theme for this, it felt a little more comfortable in a shorter span. I feel like it was very kind of quick in and out. And I guess that's kind of reflective of just where I was creatively, or just in general where I'm at the time that I was writing it. And it felt like everything was really quick, moving really fast, lots of quick changes. There's this and then there's that. And I feel like that helped the structure of making the project too. So yeah, I don't know. I tend to like shorter just because I think it's, I guess, more digestible when I'm listening back to it or when other people are listening to it. But I used to write songs really long for I used to have 3 verses, a whole 3 minutes of me just rapping. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, I really enjoy this as a writer and as a rapper. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I would wonder if I was diluting the point of what I was trying to say. I think I'm trying to get more concise in general with even just talking, thinking, everything. So I think that's just reflective in how I guess portray the music too.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I think you really got that down, because to me that's a talent, to be able to say what you really want to say and get that across to listeners. I feel like it's a special skill, and you really do that on this project.
Thank you.
So it's fully produced by Zekele. I hope I'm saying that right.
Zekele.
Okay. And I've never come across Zekele before hearing Tongue Original. The production is phenomenal. I really enjoy it. It's one of the best things about this project for me. And I'm wondering if you could talk about the process of you two coming together on the project. Were you in community with one another prior to working on this?
Yeah. First, I forgot to say this earlier too. Shout out to him. Really appreciates him. And just every time we interact, it's always great. But yeah, me and Zekele, I love Zekele. That's my friend. And we were in our, it's kind of up in the air with that, but in a music collective called Planet Locale. It was me, Zekele, Dunn, 120, Kaya, Kuya, Tito, a bunch of artists. And we had a time in like 2020 after the pandemic when we all like were really close and started working together like musically and creatively very like intensely. So we were all like collaborating and doing a bunch of shit, like building a friendship, but also like music collective being built there. And it was really amazing. That's really where I learned to rap. Learned to rap with my best friend Jet. And yeah, we just took off from there. And Zakele is definitely, I mean, all of them are amazing, like artists in general. Like anything they do is really amazing and has always inspired me and really, I feel like I can learn from them. But Zakele specifically just has kind of like when I listen to their beats, it's like I'm in a trance. Like I feel like it just takes me to like a different dimension. I feel like that's the thing I love about being in a collective, seeing where we like independently like go musically. I feel like when I listen to Kaya, I'm taken somewhere completely mystical. When I listen to Zakele, I'm taken somewhere whimsical but mystical in different ways. So this specific project though, they had just sent me a couple beats and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'm fucking with it. Sent me them like last winter, and then I was like, yeah, I want to make a project. Sent me some more, started cooking, and then yeah, we just recorded together, dropped it, and this was my first project I felt like really confident about. I've dropped other projects before on SoundCloud and no, just SoundCloud, nowhere else, and they were all great within their own, right, but this felt like I'm standing firm in it. I'm in it like I'm 10 toes down with it and felt really good. And it feels really good to be like with a friend building this and creating something so beautiful. So that's how that started.
Yeah, I'm sure that impacts the work.
Yeah, deeply, deeply. I feel like it's I don't know, it's just crazy too because I feel like my music is so like tied to my personal life, I guess, my growth. So yeah, it's just a very full circle moment, kind of coming back into these things again, and like it's just gonna continue to happen, and seeing other people going back into it again.
You said some stuff there that I think both Ian and I may have picked up on in the music, so we're gonna come back to it at some point. But I want to ask you about the single off this project, Heart Anatomy Lullaby. I love this song, but I wanted to ask you about some of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
At one point you say, and please correct me if I misquote you, but at one point you say, when it comes to guys, abrupt cutoff. How long with respect? I'd be dead if I cared about a man. Real shit. Take my bodily autonomy and throw it in the mosh pit. I think you're talking about your right as a female to independence, but I'm wondering if you could say a bit more about where you're coming from with these lyrics.
Yeah. Can I just say, first of all, it feels so crazy to like, I don't know, be sitting here talking about my bars like this deeply. I really appreciate y'all giving me the space to do that. I'm gonna try my best to be as like clear and transparent, but I'm kind of like, oh my God, this is weird. But yeah, so yeah, that definitely is. So yeah, I start that whole thing with like something about talking to my auntie on the phone, like when it comes to guys, yeah. This was written like after I had visited my aunt, and we had a lot of conversations, lots of talking, and it's like a repeated kind of, I guess, familial thing of like what it means to be independent as a woman. And I don't like a lot of what they think, and I don't like a lot of their assumptions, and it almost like irritates me kind of in general to be told things I already feel. And one of that is like putting trust in anybody really, but specifically like a romantic partner, a man specifically. And I'm like, I will literally die before I like put all of my wholehearted independence as like a person, not just even as a partner, into someone else. So yeah, that's kind of just touching on like, I guess, generational thoughts of like independence and providing for yourself. And like specifically in my life, having seen a lot of positions that the women have been in, it's only led me to this point. Like, it's almost like ironic to me. It's like, how are you telling me this? But you have showed me many times throughout my life, like, I shouldn't do this. Like, this has been proved to me already. And I don't know, I guess it takes me somewhere visual. Like, I don't like mosh pits. I don't like being around people. I don't like being so tightly packed in. I don't like being pushed. I don't like being touched, none of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would rather be thrown around, tossed around. But there's some beauty in the mosh pit too, because then it's like I'm just vibing with the music. And I think it's really cool to physically be taken to a space like that. But yeah, just the imagery with that, like I would rather be kind of, I guess, like tossed around in something I can't control than willingly give up my control like that. And I really pride myself on being just like this, I guess, super, maybe even hyper independent person and like not needing people or shit and all this shit. But yeah, that just kind of illustrates, I guess, that part of me and that like denunciation of that thought process.
It was interesting to hear you talk about how confident you were when you made this project and after sort of like engaging with the final product, because I really feel like you can feel that when you're listening to it. I know that you've been out here and you've been doing this, but this album feels like the arrival of Desde.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you're giving us a proper introduction and an open invitation to your world through this project. We're really getting a glimpse of your life and what you're navigating. And for me, it's almost like a camera crew followed you around 24/7 for a week, and this project is a raw footage. So, what do you hope people will see when they listen to Tongue Original?
Mm. It does feel like that, right? Like just like this is really, I don't know, because I feel like I only really know how to write about my life and me personally. And I guess that ties in with what I want people to see. And I guess I just want people to see parts of me that I felt like have been neglected in the perception of me in general. Because that's one of my traumas. But I don't know. I also think there is a great level of understanding of ourselves individually when we can see things in ourselves that other people can relate to. Like, I know I'm not the only person that relates to a lot of the shit I'm talking about. This is just in the context of my life. And I really value the human experience and like caring for each other and hearing each other. And that's why I feel like in my personal life, I always advocate people to be selfish to a level, because it's like, in a way, being selfish can be selfless, because once you acknowledge this within yourself, you can acknowledge it in other people as well.
Mm.
And I think that's what living is all about. And I guess, yeah, that's what I'm trying to work for. So I guess I want people to see me for who I am for real, because it's not the easiest for me to show that, I guess, in my life. Yeah, and I want people to see themselves too within like other people's lives and just feel seen, or feel like, should they notice, other people notice. I notice it at least. Like, it's not just you.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be talking quite a bit about that as we go on tonight, because I think throughout this project, you seem to be sending these sort of affirming messages, either to yourself or to the listener, or maybe both. And I hear this in some of the phrasing and imagery that are present in the lyrics, like, why do I stress about anything? And I never strive for perfection. And one of my favorites, I'm a garden in my city. But then there's this moment on the track, Akdeli, when you say with like such sincerity, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to spread the word. God loves you. Heard?
Tell me when you're tired of licking the licorice. Sweetness wears down either way. Don't be awed by my actions when the liquor hit. Shit, look, my tongue be lit. Catch a hand, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to spread the word. God loves you, you heard. You too messy to be Messiah-like. A walking self-fulfilling prophecy. Trying not to be a self-sabotaging stereotype. Hot takes more chaotic than Broadway. Sticking to the same roads the long way. You could cook in your own crib. I like to bake. I be alone with these soft cakes.
And it doesn't get more direct than that for me on this project. All this adds up to this really like beautiful collection of songs that are sort of littered with these affirming messages. It sounds like that was the intent.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm trying to live my life away. And I feel like I really believe in the power of words and what we say and what we tell people. And yeah, I just want everyone to feel good. And I want to talk with love to everyone that I talk to as much as I can, you know. Some people don't get that, but I try to. Yeah, I don't know. Most simple way I could put it, I guess, is just I want us all to feel good. Like I feel like this all comes after a time where I was really not feeling good, feeling really scared about life in general, not even just specific things, but larger sense of like life. And after all this, it's like I'm standing in a breath of fresh air, and I'm like, nah, I want everybody else to see the light too, because once I'm in the light, I see how much we're all kind of suffering sometimes, and this is my like, hey, nah, we good, y'all. Like everything will be all right. There's so many ways to say it, and I want to, through my music, I want to explore every way I can say it. I feel like part of the reason why I make music is to just express myself solely. Like I don't do much else hobby wise. So yeah, just believing in my words and believing in what words can do. And I want us all to speak with love. It starts with me. Change starts with you.
It's present in the production on the project as well. You know, on Limos, there's this sample of someone singing, "I can't live this way no more." There's this brilliantly placed pre too funny interlude, and at the end of the last track, Gum Split, there's someone speaking, and they're encouraging, again, you or the listener, or maybe both, to quote, love on yourself today and don't be shy about it. And I just thought that was a beautiful way to end this EP. And I'm wondering what you can tell us about the decision to include that at the end of the album.
Yeah. So part of it was like, oh, I specifically want like an audio of someone speaking, and like I had the pre too funny one and I was like, okay, this is funny, but I want something a little more like serious and like endearing. And my friend Zovi had actually sent me that in like a longer voice note on my birthday. Little context, I hate birthdays, and I hate my birthday. I think I'm not comfortable with being celebrated, but this birthday that passed was like my first one that I was like, no, I want to celebrate myself. And I actually want people that love me to celebrate me too. And I don't want to like turn it away. So having that message like that is something I would play back. I do play back to myself regularly to remind myself of that feeling. Cause when I'm not in it anymore, I'm like, no, it was just grounding to like hear that message. And I think it was endearing to put at the end of that too, because that song specifically was, I think, a little more of for me it felt more vulnerable and transparency in like what I'm writing. So yeah, I just wanted to include that because in my life it was affirming to me.
Yeah, so generous of you to share that with us.
Yeah, shout out Zoe.
I want to dig in a little more into this interlude of Pretty Too Funny that you included on here. Just to echo what Rob said, I think its placement is really significant. It feels really significant. And even though Pretty Too Funny is funny, and this is like them just sort of clowning, it really ties into a bigger theme. And so the interlude is them just talking about how they're going through it, and then telling a story about their friend who's hyping them up after that, telling Pri not to give up on what they're doing. And Pri says, "Oh, I'm never going to give up. I never said that. If I didn't make it, I said I was going to sell pussy." And immediately following this is Heart Anatomy Lullaby. And then we hear you talk about your own experiences, some of which sound difficult. So for me, these tracks are about survival. I feel like in your own ways, you and Pri are each talking about how you've needed to pivot when life becomes hard so that you can live the life you want and commit to being unapologetically you. Is that part of the message you're trying to convey?
Yeah, definitely. The giving up, I feel like that's something I related to a lot. And one of my coping mechanisms is like sarcasm and being funny. Like I'm the type to, cry and then laugh at myself about like my face and I'm crying and shit like that. So just like hearing a story you think is gonna go somewhere in a serious route and then interrupting with something that's like so flagrant but so real. Like I feel like that I was like, oh yeah, I need that, because that's just like That's it right there. And then yeah, I did put Heart Anatomy Lullaby after that because yeah, I don't know, I wanted to go down that route of like what makes you get to that point of like, I never said I'll give up. Yeah, shit is hard, but I'm still trying.
Want to shift gears a bit and go back in time just a little bit. First time I heard you was on King Vision Ultra's Shook World. Shout out to Gang.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments for me when you hear something new and you just sort of stop whatever you might be doing at the time and give it your full attention. Like, who is this? And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about your career, if we want to call it that, in music up to that point, and how you ended up getting involved in Shook World.
So, damn, how do I know Gang? I don't even know how I know Gang. Just like,
Gang knows everybody.
Yeah.
for real, like I feel like we first met just like I guess on some music shit. I think they knew Kaya, my friend, bestie, and also MODVV with me, our duo. Yeah, so always kind of like knew each other a little bit. All knew my friends in Planet Locale too. So it just that relationship started kind of building slowly. I'm trying to remember the first thing we made though. Like, how did we get to Shook World? I don't even remember for real. But in the Shook World bag, like I feel like Gang has been able to satisfy something in me musically that like I haven't gotten elsewhere, which is I think the overall sound, how I want to rap or sound on that type of sound too, was very different than things I was used to. And I really like it. I like the loudness, the chaoticness of all of it. And we had done some songs together before that is just like we just had and we kind of just sat on them. And then yeah, one day they asked me to be on Shook World. Actually Cold Hex, which is on Shook World, we had made before. And then I think we used a new beat maybe or something like that to put it on. But Gang was the first person I feel like, not the first, but one of the first to affirm like you can like yell and you can be mad and you can like it all doesn't have to be like rap, flow, like type shit. Like I feel like I was very focused on that when I started, like, oh, to sound like a rapper, I have to do like this. But kind of gave me that kind of independence musically. Like, nah, I'm not really confined to a type of sound. And that I feel like also in turn gave me like self-confidence and just like not feeling like I fit in all the time, like we all do. And yeah, I'm like, nah, I want to try this. I want to do this. I remember Gang also had like commented on music they heard by this producer called I Don't Know, You Tell Me, who makes very chaotic beats. And it was like the first of its kind in that sound. My last project, Reroute, was produced by him. And it's very different than this. Like if you hear it, it's like, whoa, this do not feel like the same you. But I feel like that's what I love about shit like that. It's like I'm me in like so many different forms and ways. And sometimes I feel like this, sometimes I feel like that. Either way, it's the same shit pretty much when you boil it down. So yeah, that opened up like that door with Gang and like going a different route sonically. And I love that route. And we are still working on stuff, which I'm really like excited for. Cause I feel like being on his shit makes me want to rap so much better and like speak so much better. I'm like, nah, I need to spit my shit on this. And like as I'm trying to be more concise too, like I feel like it's a beautiful like intersection point where I'm like, this is different and I want to tune into that. So being on Shook World was great as fuck. I love it in its entirety. I love performing it. I love my shit. Like Shook World was crazy. I feel really grateful to be on it and be on it twice and like be on it with artists that are like my peers, but also artists that I look up to a lot who are also my peers. You know, it feels I'm very honored, honestly.
Gang is indeed a very good hype person. Like he's
Mhm.
very affirming. So I hear that. It's one of the things I appreciate about him the most. When he joined us earlier this year and we talked about Shook World, we discussed how much this project really fosters a sense of community, not only among the folks contributing to the project, but also the people who have been deeply impacted by the issues being addressed on here. And I imagine helping to create that space might have been a pretty powerful thing for you as an artist because of what you and your peers provided to each other and the listeners who engage with Shook World. So, when you think about your inner circle within and outside of this project and consider the tribe of folks who are part of your everyday life, how has this sense of community influenced your own artistry?
I feel like my community is what drives my artistry because when I see others like be able to just express themselves in like a very honest, real way, but also in a way that's like communal, like tapping into things we all experience, speaking on it, giving their perspective. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that too. Like I want to give my perspective. Or this is just my little 2 cents, that's all. But it feels good too because one of my personal interests for real is or something I really care about is where I'm from, and I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm from Flatbush/Crown Heights because people have tried to be like, nah, that's not Flatbush, that's Crown Heights. I jacked them both, but yeah, just like being able, I think to speak on that feels very empowering, and again, goes into like speaking on things that I feel like have been unseen in me or just unseen in general. So I'm really appreciative of that aspect and I think just being like a part of a larger story too, just really feels like it feels like an honor to me that it's like you are in this space with people that I feel like have very valuable things to say
Mm.
and very necessary like things to say.
As you mentioned, you have 2 tracks on Shook World, Fangs and Cold Hex. Now, this might be a reach, but on Cold Hex, you say, it's all connected. Control through our mouth like a wet kiss. Original tongue. Spread the word gum to gum if it's really real. Okay, so I heard that. Original tongue. The EP that you have out is called Tongue Original. It's all connected. What is the connection here? Is there a connection?
Everything is connected. I, I feel like that's my motto in life. Like it's like everything is like brain neurons, kind of like something might be here and here, but like there's a pathway through anything to the next thing. Like what I'm saying on Shook World is somehow connected to what I'm saying on Tongue Original, and we can pull anything from that and like tie the connections. And I feel like that's something I guess I value about the human experience. Like I don't think things are solely independent. Everything is kind of connected in larger and smaller ways. And yeah, I think I like to be the connector. I like to show how I see connections, and connect things you might not connect naturally or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I feel like everything connected. And I think with that bar too specifically, I feel like I'm speaking again to like the power of words. Like we can connect it through our mouths. Like our mouths are the gateways to connection. There's so many ways, and just like showing how your words can be like one way.
Was it a conscious choice, though, to title the EP Tongue Original after writing those same words in your verse on Cold Hex?
Yeah, well, Tongue Original actually came first.
Okay.
And then Cold Hex, the original Tongue came first.
Okay.
Like I think I don't even know how I came with Tongue Original. Like I think I just started saying it, it became a little like slogan of mine, and I started just saying it in songs like after a verse or whatever, like not too deep. But then I changed like my Instagram name, and I was like, damn, I kind of like this. I kind of wanted to change my name from Desde to Tongue Original. Still debating. I'm like, but yeah, then I was like, nah, I'm gonna use Tongue Original as like a concept and like almost like I guess like in a way kind of like a persona, because I don't see myself wanting to do the same kind of music all the time. So I feel like this is my like be vocal era. This is my more talkative, meaningful talkative kind of stage. I want to like right now in this moment, I'm trying to use like less words and just like have things that don't feel so deep per se and wordy. But yeah, tongue original came first, and then I'm gonna keep trying to like reference it and shit just because I feel like it all ties back to me, my tongue original, but also all our tongues are original in their own way.
Mm. Rob talked about being blown away the first time he heard you on Shook World, and I felt a very similar way when I saw you at National Sawdust last year. That was my first Desde experience, and what a experience it was. It was just fucking incredible. I remember like messaging Gang the next day. I'm like, yo, like, who is this? I wonder what it's like for you when you are performing, right? And you are in a room and it appears that you might be performing for people who have never been exposed to your work or one of your live sets. How does that shift your energy on stage? Is your approach different versus when you perform for folks who have clearly been supporting your music?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm more of a shy, reserved person. So I low key kind of prefer performing in front of people. I feel like that have no connection to me at all because I'm like, okay, then this can just be like, oh, I saw this, and it's like, I don't know. If you want to keep going with the journey, you go ahead. But I feel like it kind of comes with a level of maybe like I don't anonymous. How do you say that word?
Yeah.
Anonymity, whatever.
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, it comes with the level of that, and I like that. I like kind of not being so bold and like the censorship. So I'm okay with being like a passing type moment. So I'm like, yeah, if it's a bunch of people who don't know me, I feel a little more comfortable. But it also does kind of low key light like show them who you are type fire in me, which I enjoy as well because I'm just very chill and just not really about that in real life. Like I just like to do me, quiet, mind my business. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's my moment where I can get into like my almost, I guess, like maybe my ego or just like a different kind of persona, kind of like this is me when I'm being like bold, when I really want to speak and I want to be heard and I'm kind of demanding like to be heard,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to believe just watching you, like hearing you say that you are a little bit reserved. And so, because it's the total opposite on stage, right? Like I was even looking at that picture I took of you, and I have another one when you're at Trans Picos and you hopped on stage, the way you even hold the mic, you're like, this is my shit. Like you just command the space. And so it's just interesting to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Something be coming out. Something not rap. But I feel like that's why, like with the shit with Gang, music with Gang, I feel like his beats are so like command kind of attention that it's like it forces me to kind of do that when I'm performing too. And I think I like that. I like that I have to force myself to kind of push myself out the show. Like that feels really affirming to me outside of even just music. So yeah, thank you. I've heard that a couple times that it's like I have a strong presence on stage, and I'm like, really? I'm trying to avoid eye contact and shit. I'm like, well, wait, come on.
Yeah, and for folks who have never seen Desde, I don't know if you have any upcoming shows, but I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
I don't as of right now, but I hope I'll be outside. Y'all catch me outside.
All right. I think it's time to talk about BbyMutha.
Yeah, I used to keep that pussy cozy for a nigga I don't love no more. I'm a goddess, he a peasant, you can have that hoe. See, these niggas only love you when you're happy. Love you when you're bone straight, cut you when you're nappy. Worry about my past, I'm just gassing up my future. If you still embarrassed, hating for ya, I salute ya. I do bout shit you on your dick so they recruit ya. Your mouth is kinda fly, I hate to fuck around and shoot ya. Maybe she's a rider, but don't let your shorty boost ya. Push me to the edge and now my friends gon' pull that pressure out. Never been a lady, it was never in my plans. Ain't no pick me in my blood, sugar free, I won't sweeten ya. Boy, I just be dancing on the dick, you don't need me. You could never see me like I see me. free me. You just wanna fuck, wanna freak, wanna be me. You just wanna live, wanna die, wanna kill me.
Okay, wait, but first, before, oh well, do you want to ask your question? I just wanted to shout out some albums that, like, when I was first thinking about influential or very, like, meaningful albums to me, I have a few that I just want to.
Yeah, you can name those first.
First one, I want to say Toast Stars by Zakele and Dunn in the Planet Locale Collective. Both Toast Stars 1 and 2, I feel like really just made me. Dunn is such an amazing rapper, made me think about rapping different, made me think about storytelling different. So shout out that. Free Britney by BbyMutha also. Very raw. Fuck with that. Broken Silence by Foxy really influenced me because it's like seeing her just do her like that. I'm like, yeah. It makes me feel like I could do that shit. Khalees, Kaleidoscope, and Wonderland. She's my fave, so shout out her. And then Jungle Pussy 3, 4, and 5. Also made me think about music differently. Also made me think about transparency as an artist differently. And like, to go to BbyMutha, she's one of those artists. Jungle Pussy, one of those artists. Khalees, one of those artists. Even SZA is one of those artists for me that it's like, I respect as a artist just because the level of honesty and transparency and just like saying what's on your mind filtered is like admirable as fuck to me.
When I told Gang you're going to be on the show, he was surprised that you didn't pick a Jungle Pussy album.
That's so funny. You see, the real no, I love JP.
Yeah. So we landed at BbyShoe by BbyMutha. So every episode we talk about a project chosen by our guests for whatever reason. Maybe it's a project they grew up with. Maybe it's a project that's significant to them for whatever reason. And so tonight we're talking about BbyShoe by BbyMutha. So Desde, the first question we ask everybody that comes on is, what brought us here? How do we land on BbyShoe?
So boom, I'm in my first year of college at this like horrible university called Pace University in the city, and I really hate it. And I'm in like the only safe space in the whole school, and somebody just mentions BbyMutha, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is, but they're just speaking so highly of her. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check her out later. I can't remember. I think BbyShoe is the first project that I heard by her at that time, and I just like fell in love immediately, like played over and over and over again. Like, I feel like I've been exposed to many types of music before, but this was like really kind of unheard of to me. And like, it was also the time, I guess, when I started appreciating music that wasn't necessarily like mainstream and like popular type shit. Like, I feel like at that time when I was like 19, 18, it's like I just started to become a person for real, like, and not just like follow shit that's like everyone else is doing. So I guess it was like the first step in my like my personal taste and like being informed by like, this is the type of shit I want to hear. Like, this is the type of storytelling I want to hear. I want to be involved in ways. She's one of those artists, yeah, that just like ever since I knew her, kind of have just like stuck out in my mind. But even deeper, I feel like even in my spirit, it's just like I listen to shit by her, and it's like I need to play it back just solely off of like I'm pondering about like what she's saying, and the shit could be so clear, but I'm just like, damn, it makes me think about me. It makes me think about others. It makes me think about other shit outside of just like, this is bars, you know? Like, this is real shit. And yeah, that was my first time being like, oh, damn, this is real shit. So yeah, that's that.
It's interesting. So I'm not even gonna front. This is the first time that I've really dug into BbyMutha. And so when I was listening to BbyShoe, it sort of reminded me a little bit of Tongue Original because they have similar themes running through them, namely around knowing your worth and honoring that even when it might be hard to do so. So for like hearing you talk about BbyMutha and hearing her music for the first time, I'm wondering if like the affirmations and encouragement that she offers on this project and others like immediately resonated with you.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking about the song Dancing on the Dick right now. I be
Yeah.
dancing on the dick. You could never see me how I see me. Free me. And it's
Yeah.
like, just hearing people's, like, I don't know, you just talking about dancing on the dick and now you're talking about being seen for real. It's like, that's very, I feel like that's just very real. And that's just like a reflection, I guess, of like how in real life, like, we see ourselves or we're thinking about shit. And I think that's just how I operate personally too. So, and I think something else too, thinking about it that like I could see in similarity is I feel like there's a overall like it's a short project, overall kind of story. It takes you somewhere. It's not all on like the same note. Like we go here talking about one thing, then moving to the other, then it can get lighthearted and just like cute, you know? And I feel like I do that. I try to do that with Tongue Original too. Like I try to create a, I guess, like mood sequence even. Like this is what I'm feeling. This is the tone, and now this is the tone. And again, I embrace all that because I feel like that's just the dimensions of life. Like not everything is all one perspective or one mood. And yeah, because I feel like I love too that she's so honest about like how she feels about herself, but no matter what, it's like I'm not letting anybody else or even myself treat me like a certain way. Like there is a standard of how I expect to be valued as a human, no matter what I'm doing or how like rough things may get or how real shit can get. I'm still very valuable. And yeah, that's just I think even more largely has influenced how I just want to like be in life and like communicate with people and like my own principles of myself. And
Mm.
that definitely reflects, I think, in my music.
Yeah, at one point she says, "I'm a grown woman. I won't sacrifice myself for nothing." And yeah, that also made me think about Tongue Original and some of the things that you are proclaiming on the project.
Yeah. I feel like mine should be like a I know that's right, like, yeah, me too.
BbyShoe was actually the first time I heard BbyMutha also. And I won't claim to be as familiar with her music as you might be, but one of the things I love about her that's not necessarily unique to her, because I think it's in some ways a sort of southern approach to rhyming, is just how intentional she is with her flow, like taking the time to say every word and say it in a way that the listener can hear clearly and understand. There's like a methodical nature to it that I appreciate. But I'm wondering for you, like when you heard it for the first time, it sounds like it was pretty different than stuff you'd been listening to like previously. But what was it about the sound that may have like pulled you in?
Yeah, the first song that comes to head is Black and Mild that's on that project. And I think it's that too, like the slowness. I think it feels so eerie because it's like you kind of have to like sit in it. Like
Hmm.
the repetition too of the Black and Mild, Ghetto Green, like the slowness, I feel like definitely you had to digest it.
Hmm.
Like she's giving you the time to sit here and digest it. And yeah, the slowness, I feel like even just like what she was saying was just so different for me than from what I was hearing before. Like this just sounds like literally a regular person doing like regular shit and being honest about like their life and not trying to be on some other shit. And it's like, wow, that's very inspirational. And yeah, I think sonically, even like maybe even like the beats in the moment, like I hadn't heard too much like that. So I was kind of it very much started a like a whoa, what's this curiosity about her and like more largely like who else makes music like this? Who else like what else are people saying like this? Like what are like the other, I guess, stories that like people are sharing like this?
Just a note about Black and Mild. This isn't a question. It's just a note that I wrote down when I was listening to it. It sounds like she actually repeated the hook like over and over again, as opposed to like recording it one time and then looping it. Like
Mm,
if you listen to it, it sounds slightly different every time she says it, and I love that. I don't know why. There's something about that that just feels so so real, like so authentic.
Yes, that's funny because I also, when I rarely do hooks, but when I do, I like the sound of just like I'm saying it over and over again because I feel like I like just like realness and like it kind of feels robotic when it's like, oh, this is just a repetition of the same shit. I feel like hearing, because she also like the tone is different every time she says it. And I feel like I hear that in Free Britney a lot too. Like she can say like just how her tone is, how she sounds, it's like a different connotation almost every time, you know?
You're talking about realness on this project, but just, around BbyMutha in general. And I think one of the things I really appreciate about BbyShoe is how she really brings all of her identities to this project, right? Like her kids are on this album. She's a mother, she's a partner, and she's talking about the partners that she has had, good and bad. She is a sexual partner and she's talking about that, so it's not one dimensional. She's really sort of bringing us into her world and giving us an honest and true glimpse into that world. And I really I love that. It really made me connect with the project.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think that was another thing that kind of like blew me away about her. It's like she's a mom, and like I don't think I wasn't ever at that point able to view motherhood as something kind of so like mothers are like people too who like experience shit like this. I don't know. I feel like a lot of at that point in my life is like I would expect mothers to act a certain way or like, be like, oh no, I have to separate my kids from like my personal shit or whatever. And that just like humanized the motherhood experience to me, and being a mom to me is beautiful. It's beautiful for sure. And it's just very honest. And I feel like, again, just necessary. Like moms be not knowing about themselves too. Moms be having sex. Moms be broke. Moms be coming up. Like it's a bunch of shit. And like it doesn't change because you're a mother. And again,
that's right.
The human experience, and I value it in like every form that it takes place. And she definitely just like opened that path for me to see, not that it's like was new or whatever, but like for me to see that like this is this human experience. And I think too, it just kind of like, because of my personal relationship with my mom, like my mom is not very transparent like to this level and shit like that. And I mean, as I said too in like her Anatomy Lullaby, like the thought process even is very kind of like shun, shame, quiet, don't do this type shit. And like hearing a mom be like, oh, I've done this shit, I do this shit, I'm still doing it even now. It's just real. It's like, oh damn, I don't have to be, we can't be like perfect in every way or be knowing in every way. And I really, really just like appreciated being able to see that through her music.
And sort of the message that just because you're a mother doesn't mean you have to ignore these other parts of yourself.
Exactly. Like we all have this in us, no matter what position we're in. And like there's no need to hide it. No need to act like it's not real.
Mind your own business.
Chloe, get out of my room then.
No.
Get out.
No. Not finished drawing.
You ain't got to be finished drawing. If I got to mind my own business, I'm in my own room. So you need to take your business into your room so I can mind my own business. Okay, I can't mind my own business if you still in here.
Mind your own business.
Yeah.
You're so cute. You're so cute.
Say it one more time.
Yeah. I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. No, you can't smoke me out, just $100 bill me. These niggas kill me, acting like I owe them something. A grown woman, I won't sacrifice myself for nothing. I'm going places, making plays, I got a bigger vision. I'm tired of $20 booty calls and supervision. You was a star until you went and tried to play the moon. You broke my heart and then I turned into a fucking goon.
There's an interview that BbyMutha did, Mass Pill, a few years ago. And at the beginning of it, she's basically saying, fuck what anybody has to say about me. And she follows this by describing how people on the internet, men in particular, have tried to drag her by sending her shitty messages. And she admits that it bothers her. She's like, of course, like on some level, this bothers me. But at the same time, fuck it, because most of what you're saying, I've already said anyways. It made me wonder if BbyMutha has served as a support to you, especially where it concerns navigating the traumatic experience that folks who don't identify as cis straight men are subjected to within the hip hop community.
Yeah, I think that's why I value that level of like transparency and honesty that I was talking about before, and like artists like her and Jungle Pussy and Khalees and everybody. Like, it makes me feel like, not even musically, like just like as a listener, it makes me feel seen. It makes me feel validated. It makes me feel open to not feeling fear for shit I don't know, because other people who are in different levels of their lives, who are maybe supposed to know shit or whatever the case may be, don't either. And it's like that's some real shit, and that's some shit we need to be like sharing with each other in order to ease the pain of growing up and becoming an adult and like dealing with everything as life goes on. Like, I feel very comforted listening to her music. I felt very comforted for the first time listening to BbyShoe, even though I'm like, I didn't relate to anything about like being a mom, but like I'm someone's child, and like that makes me feel shit. Like, it makes me think about what is shit my mom don't be saying to me that she feels. And like how that ties into like shit I feel, because I've seen that shit in her and like other mothers I've grown up around. Like, it opens the door for me to just see things differently, and I always just appreciate that in life. So, and yeah, I feel like it's a special kind of comfort too, with like, that's the reason I love SZA a lot too, because I feel like the honesty of like emotion too, because I feel like I wasn't very emotionally vulnerable growing up. So seeing people be able to like be that emotionally vulnerable and share it and like make it sound beautiful is like, makes my inner child happy and feel secure. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, there's other shit other than like not feeling good or not feeling like you can be honest about shit.
So in this same interview, she says that, and I don't know if this is like true at the time or if it's still true now, but she said she doesn't have people to talk to, and music is how she gets shit off her chest. Have there been times when you felt that way as an artist?
Yeah, all the time. I feel like there's levels of sharing that I can have with others, but I feel like the only true venting, like, that I really need sometimes is that the only true venting I can have sometimes is with myself and like thinking through shit on my own and being introspective. And I think it's hard for me to like verbalize that sometimes, and that's a setback, or it holds me back from sharing with others. And yeah, musically, I think that's my space where I'm like, these are my journal entries. This is my diary. This is where I can just say that and like say this shit that might not make sense to other people, but I get it deeply. And then it turns out that other people be getting the shit too. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, no, it's cool that like we have an understanding with that, just like through words. So yeah, I feel what she was saying a lot. I feel like there's some shit that it's like you just can't talk about for some reason sometimes, but I feel like music kind of can be my safe space of talking about it with myself. And then like, that's like the thing I turn in and present to others, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can relate to that as a listener of music, like being able to just be in conversation with somebody who kind of feels the way you do, maybe.
Sure.
This was a great album for you to pick, Desde. I'm glad that this is where we landed, because yeah, it's just perfect. And I really think that there's a lot of similarities between this album and Tongue Original. So it's perfect. Like you said, everything's connected.
Yeah, it is, because I'm like, damn, I don't know if I would have ever seen that connection in that and in myself, but through this, I just did. And I'm like, oh shit. You see how the influence be like playing out in real life?
Yeah.
I love it. The universe does magic sometimes.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm also grateful to have had a reason to listen to BbyMutha. It's been a while since I've like tapped into her music, so I've been glad to have a reason to listen to her stuff this week.
Yeah, she a lot more projects after that too, so it only gets better.
This has been such a lovely conversation.
Yes.
I don't want it to end, but I don't want to keep you because I know you got to get out of here. Before we go, though, is there anything that you want folks to know about upcoming projects? I know you say you don't have any scheduled gigs right now, but anything else in the works that folks should tap into?
Y'all should listen to Tongue Original. I don't have anything planned coming out right now, but things are always brewing. So yeah, just stay tuned, I guess. But also, I don't know. I guess if you're watching this, I want you to take like the words that are being said in Tongue Original as like my validation to your experience and your existence and your feelings, and really take it as I say it. God loves you, and not to be like that, not to get preachy and shit, but we're all special and like amazing, and like should be real hard. And I hope like listening to this, just like even if it's just like a good listen, I hope it can provide something.
Amen. Well, you heard it from Desde.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And definitely tap into Tongue Original immediately. It's a phenomenal project.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much for letting me speak about it, for your words on it. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, folks, this has been The Next Movement. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.
I'm a garden in my city, and you sit on soil in your zone while you garden imperfections. I let the cloud conjure deadly weapons. Fuck pretty with a vertebrae dismayed. You can't see straight anyways. Plenty faith it be okay. Heaven sent, I see the pavement. Gray and dollar craving. Cracks cradle looking worlds away. I still see the smile, still hear the words I never lived down. When I put out sacred shit and never got it back. Condom that we didn't use, went and got my dollar back. All the sense matter, what is heard is not collateral. I guarantee the vision seen different. Word of mouth is not compatible. I got this spit living, should be gum splitting. Come children, this your favorite tale. Me and my friends disrespect the man with the caps for sale. Big goofy chose sleep, we took it all, then we chose peace. Look, learn your lesson, don't shit where you eat. Life's always gonna be bittersweet. Read the room and watch where your lips stick before you meet your doom and pop 'em at me. For you pop 'em at me.